Welcome to Slayer the Alchemist, and on today's episode, let's discuss Rush's first live album, All the World's a Stage, released in 1976. This was my first Rush record. I was hearing stuff from Moving Pictures, Tom Sawyer, Limelight. On the radio, I wanted to get a Rush album. They didn't have Moving Pictures, and this was the only one they had, so I grabbed this, and not a bad first choice for a Rush record. So this live album has always had kind of a special place in my heart for me. And like most Rush records, they tend to bookmark the end of a chapter in the band, in their sound. And this for me represents their power trio, strictly power trio phase, no keyboards. Although there's keyboards at the beginning of 2112, I was sort of surprised that the band members aren't listed anywhere on the record. And on Wikipedia, it does not list Geddy as playing keyboards. I always assumed that he probably had the keyboards up there and he just played that intro to 2112. But maybe it was pre-recorded. I don't know. If you're a Rush fanatic out there, let me know in the comments down below if on that 2112 tour, if he was playing keyboards yet, or if that was a taped intro. But like I said, this does sort of represent that first phase of Rush. There are 4 albums in at this point. You can see them on the inner sleeve here. The self-titled Fly By Night, Caress of Steel, 2112. And they were just starting to take off. 2112 was starting to break the band. And I think this album, whereas from this point on, their live records sound a lot like the studio records. And I guess that could be a good thing if that's what you like. If you like your live records to sound a little different than the studio albums, this maybe will satisfy that a little bit more, because I think the production on the first couple Rush records, as much as I like them, is maybe sometimes it feels like it's lacking a little bit in energy. Like, for instance, on the opening tracks on here, Bastille Day and Anthem, they just come, right out at you. And I love that intro. Will you please welcome home Rush? And they just go right into it. To me, they're notched up a little bit more energy. I love them in sort of this really clean guitar, bass, drums, one vocal, them just going for it. I always kind of wished later in their career that maybe they could have done a tour where they just came out and just played as a power trio. No keyboards, just them rocking out. I know Geddy later on in the band's touring would have struggled to sing some of this stuff because he is just way up in his range on a lot of these songs. But if they could have done that at some point, maybe in the 90s, the early 2000s, I just think that would have been awesome, because I always like them in this setting where it's more open. When the guitar is soloing, you just have the bass and drums jamming out underneath it. So every song on here is great. I think the songs are all well picked. Fly By Night, Something for Nothing from 2112. Those sound great. Lakeside Park from Caress of Steel is pretty cool. Of course, 2112 takes up most of side 2. That sounds fantastic, especially at Temples of Strings. Amazing. Side 3, By Tour and the Snow Dog from Fly By Night. That one comes across really well in the live setting. In the End, kind of, I don't know if I'd call it a ballad, power ballad, maybe, but it sort of brings the energy down, which is pretty cool. And then side 4 kind of feels like the party end of the concert. They play Working Man, Finding My Way, What You're Doing. And it sort of takes the album out on a fun kind of rock and roll vibe, which is something that as Rush went on, they would sort of lose that sound that they kind of had on the first record, which was a little more bluesy, a little bit more Led Zeppelin. But yeah, I've always loved this album. Now, if you ask me what do I like better, this or Exit Stage Left, because I did get Exit Stage Left when it came out, and I was really into that. I love those for different reasons. I love both those records, but again, this one just has a special place for me because it was my first Rush album. I think the mix on it is fantastic. It sounds live. It sounds very live. It doesn't sound to me like there's been any overdubs or anything like that. I mean, who knows? Probably a little somewhere, but they did a very good job of making it sound like a live record and giving you that live sort of atmosphere. Something that I miss. I did a video a while ago about live albums and how they don't really mean anything anymore. There was a point in time where a live record was really something special because you got to hear the band in this live setting, sounding a little bit different, songs maybe with a little bit more energy, a little bit faster, different guitar solos, things like that. All right, so let me know what you guys think of All the World's a Stage. How do you rank this compared to? I mean, for me, really, this is only between this and Exit Stage Left. I wouldn't even show of hands. That to me is a distant third to the first two live ones. But let me know what you guys think of All the World's a Stage in the comments down below. Till we see you again, make sure you rock hard, ride free.